Hi, Jake.
Hi, Cory.
5, 6, 7, 8.
What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Jake and Cory podcast. I'm Jake. That is Cory. What is up, Cory?
Twitch is starting to get on my nerves.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Starting to? I feel like you complain about Twitch on every episode.
I almost do because it's like I'm unsubscribing to people. I'm unsubscribing to people. And my favorite Twitch streamer that I've talked about ad nauseum, Benny Streams, gone. He's out of here.
Is it the platform or is it the streamers?
It's the streamer. He created this cop character in GTA 5. and it's fucking boring.
Yeah. I just made a tweet. You might relate to this. There's this streamer that I watch from time to time named Hassan, and I tweeted, watching Hassan stream is like being in a classroom where the teacher is yelling at the class, but you did nothing wrong.
There you go. You just explained.
I swear.
Why
most streamers are just like yelling at their chat. Like that's
like
half of the streaming experience. I swear.
You just explained why I also unfollowed and stopped my subscription to Lithium. Lithium has this chat where I literally have it cut and pasted on my computer. When he starts bitching at chat, I go in there and I paste in the comments, chat's fault. Every time. Because I'm like, why am I paying to fucking support you and you're blaming me for everything? And another thing, how the fuck you gonna be playing GTA 5 on Twitch and then get fucking tilted when someone when chat metagames, but then 5 seconds later or 5 minutes later, you're asking chat for help in the game. Which one is it, motherfucker? Is it help or is it meta? What is it?
It's so true, dude.
Fucking hell. You know, and then you got Spastic McCrackhead over there, XQC. Motherfucker can't sit still. When you on the phone in GTA 5, what's the point in running around? Stand your character still, you on the fucking phone. What you running around for? In the water, out in the water, climbing up the buildings, running around the buildings, and then you wonder why the opposing gang caught your ass and clapped you. Stand still, motherfucker, you on the phone. Shit.
Cory.
All right,
your love of GTA RP is hilarious.
It's hurt my feelings. I'm almost out. You know what, Jake? I was so mad the other day I started playing an internet game. It was on the internet, Jake. It was a farming game on the internets.
Were you playing Farmville or what?
No, I don't even know what it was, but it was some character and there was a girl and I couldn't figure out how to change it to a boy. And then there was chickens and I had to feed it and I had to water the chickens and then I had to plant and then I got tired and then I had to go chop down the tree to get more energy out of the tree. But then while I was chopping down the tree, I got tired. What the fuck was going on? But I wasn't watching GTA 5. Shit.
My number one rule when I play any game and you get to pick what gender you are, I'm always a girl. I don't know why. I always pick a girl every single time.
You're a pretty
girl.
Know. You're a pretty girl.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You make a hot chick.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'd hit it if you were a girl.
Thank you. You'd hit it now.
See, I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say that because, you know, GTA 5 is ruining my life.
Well, I've got an exciting show planned for us today, Cory.
That was his way of saying, shut the fuck up, fat boy. That was literally enough with the fucking GTA 5. Enough with the GTA 5, motherfucker. No one cares. If you say no pixel one more time, I'm going to come to this fucking computer and stab you in your fat neck. That's what you said.
We just need it. We need like a section of the show just dedicated to GTA RP where you just break it down for us. That's how we should end every show, I swear. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, as soon as we plan that, then everything goes back to normal and they're back to rob. Can't even rob banks no more. What the fuck is an advanced lockpick? What is no pixel thinking? They're making it more difficult. That's why these characters are getting... All right, I'm done. All right, but I got bored one night, Jake. Turned it off, and instead of playing my internet games, I watched a movie.
Oh yeah. Well, that's funny you mentioned that.
Really?
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's just a little coinkadinker, Jake. It's just a little coinkadinker.
I figure it's been a while. Every few months we always do a movie sort of. I've been calling them the movie rapid fire episodes.
Yeah,
and we just talk about some of the movies that I watched, and I figure let's do another one. I think it's time
because I've taken some of your movies. I have my pen. I've got my tablet of paper chair, and I have taken some of your movie recommendations, your movie recos, and I have watched them. And because I have a lot of free time on my hand now that I am not subscribed to a lot of Twitch streamers, I'm going to watch some movies. The only thing I would like to have, and I don't know if you do this, I can't remember. Do you also tell us the platform that you watch, that you consume these movies on?
I can, I guess.
Yeah, let us know. For my sake, because if it's on the Hulu or if it's on the Flixnet or if it's on the Prime Zon, or if it's on the Plus Diz or on the Hobo Max, I'd be interested to know that. And I believe that our listener would also be interested to know. Listener. Single.
Our listener.
Yes. Austin.
So my list is admittedly a lot shorter than normal, right?
Hey, we don't admit when it's shorter. We just go with it and say that it's the best.
Okay, my list is still the best, but a little bit shorter than normal.
Oh, yeah.
Because I honestly, dude, I've been having a hard time sitting down in my room and watching movies. And this is why I love movie theaters, because when I go to a theater, I sit down and that's what I'm doing, and I'm focused, I'm locked in. That's what I'm doing. And I love it. I love that experience. And now that movies are back in theaters, I've kind of started going back a bit. I even re-upped my AMC Stubs rewards card.
Oh, shit.
Got those Tuesday discounts. So I'm going to start seeing movies on Tuesday again. And I'm just so overly hyped.
Now, when you decide to share some of your antibodies with me through the swapping of serum, I would be interested in going with you to those Tuesday $4 movies.
$6, but yeah.
Oh shit, $6. I can't afford $6.
It's too much. That's too much.
Man, what are you talking about? I'm living on a limited budget here.
That $2 really pushed it over.
That little $2. I mean, I was gonna put that in the gas tank to be able to get to the theater, and I got to give the theater that $2.
Hey, I'm walking here.
What kind of freaking grab hand operation are we working with here?
But I wanted to start with this. Before we get into my list of movies that I've watched since the last one of these that we did. So Black Widow, right? You know about Black Widow, the movie?
Oh, it's a movie? I thought it was a spider.
Well, it is a spider, but there's a movie called Black Widow as well.
Yes.
And this is the first Marvel movie to come out in theaters since the pandemic, right? So it's been a year and a half, right? This movie was supposed to come out like well over a year ago, but it got pushed back until a couple weeks ago, right? But what they ended up doing with the movie as well, and they've done this with a couple movies, and we've talked about it here on the show, was they released the movie in theaters as well as Disney Plus Premier Access. So you pay $30 and you can watch it at home on Disney Plus, or you could go to the theaters and watch it, right?
Wait a minute. The theaters is $6 and Disney Plus is yeah, I see. I don't see the deal there.
Well, the reason is because if you pay $30, you can watch it with your whole family, right? So it's like a pay-per-view, right? Like if you spend like $150 on a pay-per-view, but you've got like 30 people there that all pitched in, it's really not that bad. I think that's their thought process there with the $30.
Okay.
You spend the $30, you watch it with like 5 or 6 people. It's actually cheaper than a movie. But what we saw happen, and this is not, we're not in normal times yet, right? So like there's so many variables here to keep in mind while talking about this. But what happened with the movie was it came out and it made a pretty decent chunk of money considering we just got out of pandemic. It's the highest grossing movie since the pandemic. Made $80 million opening weekend, right? But we saw something very interesting happen with this movie, where on Friday it made a lot of money, about the amount of money a Marvel movie would make on a Friday opening. But then it had a 42% drop on Saturday, from Friday to Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest drop any Marvel movie has ever seen. I think the second highest underneath it is about like 28%. So that's like a huge drop from Friday to Saturday.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And then going from the first weekend to the second weekend, first weekend it made $80 million. Second weekend it made $20 million. So that's a massive drop. So what a lot of people are talking about is, why did this happen, first of all? And how do we prevent this from happening in the future? And there's been a lot of backlash from the theater owners towards Disney, because the theater owners are blaming the fact that it's on Disney Plus. And I tend to agree with them that that is one of the main reasons, I would say, that this is happening. I've seen a lot of people online, they're like, fuck it, theaters need to innovate. And I like that Disney's doing this, and I feel like a real outcast here, Cory, because I feel like I'm the only one shouting from the rooftops, Disney needs to stop doing this, and they should just release it in theaters, and then in 4 to 6 months they can release it on their app, because I firmly believe in the theater experience.
Well, we talked about this.
I wanted to get your take on this. Yeah,
we talked about this a couple of months back when Disney released, when we were like in the thick of the pandemic. The pandemic is not over, but we were in the thick of the pandemic, and Disney or one studio released a movie straight to Habo or something like that. And I believe that even Eddie Murphy's Coming to America 2 went like straight to Amazon Prime. And we had talked about it. How is this streaming going to work for the rebound for these theaters? And I think that maybe our take was that, there's going to be people that are going to want to see it in the theaters. There's going to be those diehard theater buffs. And then there's going to be those people that are going to be the streamers that are going to see it, because the streaming community, for people that consume entertainment via the internet, exploded during the panty. So I'm thinking that the people that there's probably a segment of the market that was like you, Jake, a theater lover. And then during the panty, when they didn't have theaters, they got comfortable with the streaming. So you're pointing out the fact that it had a 45% drop the following weekend. Maybe that's that segment of the market that has decided not to return to the theater and wants to consume it. So we asked each other the question, how is that going to work? Somebody's going to get the short end of the stick. So you're talking about the numbers in the box office. I'd be interested to see the numbers of the streaming, because the numbers of the streaming, if there was even a slight uptick at 20%, that leaves us a variance of another 20% of the market that probably would have gone to the theater that may have just consumed it streaming.
So there is an interesting statistic there that Disney actually came out and listed the opening weekend numbers of Black Widow streaming, and they said they made about $60 million just streaming. So that's 80 plus 60 million. So ultimately that movie did pretty fucking well.
The movie did well. But here's the thing.
It's actually a huge success.
We don't have previous releases that they can even compare that to. You know what I mean? They don't have another movie that they can say, hey, we released it in theaters and we released it in streaming, because prior to the pandemic, it was straight to theater or straight to Netflix in a way. You know what I mean? Right. One or the other. So I think what you're experiencing, Jake, here is a display of the shift in the market. And then at the end of the day, the studio is going to win. The studios are going to win, but I think it's a little chicken shit for the theaters to try to point fingers when it's really not the theater's fault, really not the studio's fault. It's just the market shifting.
Well, I want to come at it from a different perspective. Okay. My perspective is the market hasn't changed. I still think it's the same. Right now, I do think it's okay that like HBO is releasing Suicide Squad theaters and streaming, and they're doing Dune theaters and streaming simultaneously, which I think is fine. And the reason I think that it's fine is because after Dune, what they've said is that they're going to go back to theatrical releases. And if Disney said the same thing, like, hey, in a few months, we're going to go back to theatrical releases, I'd be fine with it. Because don't get me wrong, we're still in a pandemic.
Yeah, we're still in it.
People who aren't comfortable going back to the theaters, I think is totally fine. I think that's totally understandable. But my thought process on it is, if this were the case 5 years ago, where they were releasing, Iron Man, both on Netflix and movie theaters, the same thing would happen. And it would have happened back then as it does now. And I think, and this might come off as weird, it might sound weird, but like, first of all, I think a lot of the filmmakers want you to see the movie in a theater because they're making these movies to be seen in a theater. And if it's available on DVD, yeah, there's going to be a ton of people that are going to go buy it on DVD or watch it on streaming or whatever. But I think the thing is, if you don't give them the option, of course they're going to go see it in the theaters. And I think that's okay. Because it is like the boutique experience. It's like saying that, like, to bring it to video games, right? A video game launches at $70, right? Which is a lot of money. And a lot of people wait to buy the games until they go down in price to $20. But, you know, what we could say to counter that is like, well, then studios should just release the game at $20. More people would buy it then. But it's like, no, that's not the point. You don't give them the choice. This is the way we're designing the market to work this way.
Yeah.
And Disney is single-handedly changing the market. They could have done this forever ago, but now theaters don't have the power that they once had. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense.
No, it makes sense. But one thing that you said, Jake, I got to push back on because I listened to the Fake Doctors, Real Friends podcast with Zach Braff and Donald Faison. And Zach Braff is a movie director, a movie producer. And you mentioned that movies are shot.
Garden State's pretty good.
Yeah, movies are shot for theater. That's not even the case anymore.
Not every movie.
They're shooting more movies for the home experience. And not only is that the case, but even TV manufacturers are releasing new models of televisions that's why TVs are getting so much bigger, because they know that people are going to consume movies in their home. So there's a market shift that's going on with even the directors and the TV manufacturers. And that's also, Jake, a factor in pulling people out of the theater experience.
Well, and if a filmmaker wants to partner with Netflix and wants to make their movie designed to go to Netflix, more power to them, go do that.
But I think there's a balance between shooting, and Zach was talking about this, is that there's a balance between shooting a movie that is enjoyable and can be consumed in both arenas, both in the theater and both on stream. Sure.
But I would say like a large amount of directors want their movies to be seen in theaters. Specifically, Christopher Nolan was pissed off that Tenet went out to HBO, and that he's announced that he's like leaving Warner Brothers because they made that decision.
He's still got a check. Why would he be mad?
Because he loves the art form of movies, like that's his whole thing. He started out as an indie filmmaker.
Yeah.
He wanted his movies to be seen on the big screen, which we all have like kind of big screens now. And I get that, but it's still not a theater you know? And like,
can you admit that you're coming from a bias perspective?
I am definitely,
though?
yes, and
Okay.
I do acknowledge that. And
Okay.
and what I'm saying is, I don't think most people know that they want that theater experience until they're in the theater having that theater experience. And that's kind of my point. Is
Yeah.
like, if it's like this where movies are just in theaters, you're more likely to get more people there that normally wouldn't go. And then when they go, they find out, wow, that's incredible. That movie was incredible, and that's the way I wanted to see it, and I didn't even know.
I think you're setting yourself up for failure for that, baby boy. I honestly believe that the market has shifted. The pandemic is one of the marks that the pandemic is going to leave is the home consumption, and that market has grown. And I believe that there are going to be people, no matter what size, that are not going to return to the theater, or it will become a very special one-off. Maybe there's a big movie release that they want to have that experience for. But I believe that there is going to be a larger segment now of the market that are going to consume these. And I believe these studios are going to continue to do the double releasing, theaters and streaming. I think that's here to stay.
And I think that's fucked on the studio's behalf, because that's what's going to kill the theaters.
Well,
and I think personally, the studios should work with the theaters, because I can't speak, but they are what have kept the studios alive for so long, is that theatrical release. And now these studios are just like kind of turning their back, and it's also going to be like a huge hit to communities. First of all, there's going to be thousands of people who lose their jobs because of these theater closures. And then a lot of theaters are also, like in a mall, right? In a mall, there's the anchor store. Well, in a lot of like shopping centers, a theater is the anchor, you know,
Yeah.
and then these theaters are gone. And then that whole shopping center is just shit now.
What you just explained is literally what happened to car manufacturers when everything became automated. I know it's a hard pill to swallow because you're a theater buff, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm being empathetic to you, but this is the shift of the market, and the studios are recognizing this. And I want to also point out, maybe this is why you're seeing a lot of boutique theaters pop up, why you're seeing like I Pick Theater out in Scottsdale pop up, while the Film Bar was able to rebound, because they know that massive, 300 person seat theater thing may be on its way out. It happened to the record, it happened to the cassette, it happened to the 8-track, it happened to the CD. It's the digital age, and movies are sliding into the digital age now.
But like, theaters are still innovative. Like, projection technology has come a long way, and still there's probably a long way for that to go as well, and for the theater experience to go. I mean, Dolby Atmos is huge, IMAX is huge. These are all still innovative things, and still things that can be innovated on in the theater. So like, I think using the like, oh, it's not innovative enough isn't even a good argument. It's just, to me, not only is this going to hurt the theaters, I think it's going to hurt the films in the long run as well, because now that there's no theaters to go see these things in, everything's just going to be a fucking made-for-TV movie, a made-for-TV movie. Everything's going to be a Netflix movie, which half of them are garbage. And I do acknowledge that a lot of the theater movies are garbage too, but like, when you don't have like that standard, and it's just like, it's on Netflix, I have Netflix, let's watch it, and like, that's kind of the mindset, the quality of these films are going to go down too.
Jake, you're taking what I would classify as the blockbuster approach. You're trying to keep this studio release to theater concept when the market is clearly moving. And like Blockbuster did when Blockbuster saw Netflix coming on the horizon, they waited too long to pivot, and then when they finally decided to, it was too late, and the market had completely abandoned them. I believe these studios are starting to see this, and yes, the IMAX experience and the sound and the projection systems, they have room to grow. But while that's growing, also is your home theater experience growing. I mean, I have a Vizio soundbar and subwoofer that sounds pretty damn good when you push the right buttons. I think what you're realizing, Jake, and I understand your frustration, and I'm not disagreeing with you because I do enjoy the theater at times. I'm not as big as a theater buff as you, but Jake, these studios are following where the people are. The pandemic has forced them to realize something, and that is when they did that first to stream only movie, and it did so well, and Disney subscriptions went up, and Netflix subscriptions went up, and Hulu subscriptions exploded. These studios saw that, and they're saying, okay, instead of me, and I know that there are going to be thousands of people that are working at theaters that are going to lose their job. A whole lot of 17-year-olds are not going to be able to save up for their car. I understand that. But that's the same thing that happened with Blockbuster. Those people rebounded. The same thing that happened with the auto industry. Those people rebounded. It's just the shift in the market, and the pandemic has forced the studios to realize your market is sitting at home on their couch.
But I also look at it as more... I look at it as more than just a market. I think of it as an art form as well that's going to be totally neutered because, like, first of all, a lot of actors they make their money off of points and how much money that my TV just turned on, and that's really strange.
Oh, poltergeist.
Anyway, a lot of these oh god, what was I saying?
A lot of actors deal with points.
Right, a lot of actors deal with points, and we're just gonna deal with the TV being on for right now.
Nobody's watching or listening.
Yeah, I don't think you could hear it through it.
No.
A lot of actors go off of points. A lot of directors go off of points where they're like, this is a low budget movie, but I'll take points on it. And if it makes a shit ton in the box office, then we make money. And that's like something that like you can't get a Robert Downey Jr. on an Iron Man anymore, or an Alec Guinness in a Star Wars anymore, because there's no box office to look at anymore. And a lot of these streaming services don't want to tell you the numbers. And
Well, Jake, when it comes to those actors that want to work in that mindset, this is what's going to end up happening. These directors and studios are going to find that actor that's waiting tables right now that is willing to work outside of that mindset, and the Robert Downey Jr.'s and the Rex Chapmans or whoever the hell else you mentioned, those guys get to go into a place called retirement, because I guarantee you in Hollywood, for every one job, there are 100 other people that are willing to do it. And that's unfortunate, and that's the shift of the market and the culture of movies. But that's
what I'm saying. We're going to end up with a bunch of fucking made-for-DVD movies, because we're going to get a bunch of fucking unexperienced actors, and we're going to get Lifetime movies on these streaming services.
That's what people want. I'm telling you, dude. These studios are still going to make money at the end of the day. You and your theater friends are the only ones that are going to be tilted.
Right now, though, we're seeing these great movies like Suicide Squad and Dune and Tenet. These are all coming to HBO because right now they're still making movies like they're made for the theater, and they're trying to get people over to their platform. But once people are in the platform and the theaters are dead, it doesn't matter anymore. We're going to go right back to the same shitty movies that Netflix was making before. So, like, I don't know, man. This seems like a fucking horrible idea, and I think that the studios doing this are fucked up. Most of the directors I've heard talk about it are pissed. Most of the actors are fucking pissed. Like, it's just not good for the art form, dude. And, there used to be laws back in the day where it was like studios can't even own theaters because that would be too much influence that the studio would have on theaters, because people actually used to care about this shit. People don't care about this shit anymore, and it's wild to me. And it's most people aren't fucking film buffs like me, right? But people still went to the movies because they're like, oh, let's go see that movie that's in theaters. But now it's like, it's on Netflix, and most people will just fucking scroll right by it, because most people don't even watch things on Netflix. They just fucking scroll forever. So, like, I don't know, man. I think it's a horrible thing. I think it's gonna like destroy. Honestly, I think things will rebound because I think the studios will start to realize that this is a stupid move.
No, they won't. They won't. This move is here to stay. And I'm going to tell you, Jake, there are other organizations outside of AMC and Harkins and the big guys that are noticing this shift. They're noticing this change that's coming or that's here and that may be here to stay. And what they're doing is that they're trying to appeal to the small segment of the market that still wants to do the theater. They're trying to appeal to that small market of people that still want the theater experience. And that's why we're seeing an influx, a pop-up of those little boutique theaters now.
No, because those boutique theaters are the ones that are going to die, and it's going to be AMC that sticks around.
Those are the ones that are going to be left standing, because how do you justify let's take a AMC theater. Let's say an AMC theater up the street, Deer Valley 44 or whatever the hell it is. Out of all of the theaters that they have there, I would say that there's 10,000 seat capacity and not throughout that whole entire theater. Okay. Yeah. The market is shifting. Those theaters aren't at capacity as they are. So that little small capacity of people that are still going, like yourself, 200-300 people, if they still want the theater experience, the boutiques are what's going to stick around while the big ones go down.
I totally disagree. I think what's going to happen is the AMCs are going to stay open. I think some of them might close, but like then everyone who wants to see a theater are just going to go to AMC and not the other places, you know?
So that
80 million that 80 million, which is still like a pretty big number.
Yeah, it's still a big number, but it's not in the billions like it was before the pandemic.
Right, and that's going to come from AMC. It's not going to come from the boutiques, because the thing that boosts up those numbers are the boutiques and the smaller theaters across middle America. You know what I mean?
Well, what's happened is that the boutiques, and I don't know this for sure, but the boutiques don't normally get the blockbusters when they drop. They don't have, right? Like let's say that, Black Widow came out on that weekend. The boutique theaters aren't going to have that. The boutique theaters will probably have it a couple of weeks after. However, Jake, if the studios are releasing these movies to streaming platforms, the boutiques do have the ability to get the enterprise contracts to show them the day they release. So then the boutiques can add even more competition. And with the boutique theaters being smaller and the crowds in theaters being smaller, and the boutique theaters have a little bit more to offer with like higher end food and in your seat service and nice comfy big chairs and stuff like that, that's going to appeal to some people, and that's going to shift as well. I know it doesn't sound good, and I know it's not what you want, but it's
all
there.
I'm saying is, why do you think that back in the 90s when The Lion King came out in theaters, it didn't come out on video for a fucking year, even when it left theaters? You know why? Because they had a fucking agreement with the theaters, because they wanted theaters to stay open, because they knew if it came out on video the same time it comes out in theaters, people are just going to buy the video. But they want people to see it in theaters. That's the whole fucking point. Movies are made for theaters.
Grandpa, get out of the Wayback Machine. Get out of the Wayback Machine. You just referenced the 1990 movie. Get out of the Wayback. We are in the digital age. Our show exists in the digital age. That's the way that it is. Yeah. I know it's not good for you, because there's some things that I don't like that are digital, that are now all electronic as well. It's just the way that we are going to become. What's that movie, that Disney movie?
I don't care about streaming. Like, things are going to come to the streaming platforms in 4 months anyway.
But they're not
just have
going.
A 4-month window where it's in theaters.
They're never. Those contracts and those deals are gone. They're going to go away.
It's fucking stupid. And the reason they're gone is because the pandemic fucked the theaters. So now the studios have all of the leverage. And they're just fuck the theaters.
They've always had all the leverage. And then when Habo stepped up, and when the Flicks of Net stepped up, and when the Ulu stepped up and said, hey, we'll pay you for it to be on our platform too, the studio said, hey, we're still going to be able to cash our checks. I completely understand what you're saying, but that way of doing business with movie releases maybe going the way of the dodo bird,
I'm
just
just
like
telling you,
CDs, tapes,
if
and
we start-
A-tracks.
Yeah, but like if we start seeing some fucking shit movies come up on Netflix and HBO and Disney, like and Paramount and all these places, I'm telling you, give it 2 years. 2 years, we're gonna have some epic fucking movies, right? Because they're gonna be pushing these platforms, right? They're gonna be like, yeah, come to our fucking platform, you bitch. And then in 2 years, we're gonna get some fucking Lifetime movies on these platforms, and that's all we're gonna get until theaters start rising back up and we're back to where we were. I'm just telling you, this is a bump in the road, and everyone's gonna realize it in a few years. I'm telling you, dude.
I don't think it's a bump in the road. I'm looking at it from a business standpoint. I don't think it's a bump in the road.
I think it's
a new road, Jake.
Exist.
It's a new road.
Business doesn't exist without the art. That is with this particular business.
Well,
it doesn't exist without the filmmakers.
Naked interpretive dance used to be a big thing
Sundance.
too, but it's you don't do it. They don't do it anymore.
Filmmakers want their movies to be seen at Sundance. Filmmakers want their movies seen in big theaters. And even these Marvel movies, they're big spectacle movies. They're meant to be seen with like huge fucking like sound and bright lights and with an audience. And that's watching a fucking movie with your shitty TV speakers and a sound bar at best. It's just not the same experience, and these filmmakers they're gonna start feeling burned by it, dude. I'm telling you.
They're not gonna feel burned by it, Jake. They're just gonna pivot. They're going to pivot because here's the thing. They're still gonna get their checks. It's gonna be the consumers like you that are gonna have to deal with the frustration. The directors and the producers are still gonna get their check. Some of them are very passionate about where they
should
go.
be their main demographic, goddammit.
You used to be, but the digital age has now shifted the demo. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It hasn't. It's just like people just happen to have Netflix, and then they're going to start raising the Netflix prices.
It is. So. It's going to happen because you know why the Netflix prices got to go up? So Netflix can have more revenue to get the movie rights from the studios. The content's not going to change.
No, the studios are making their own platforms. Netflix is its own studio now. That's the thing. You're going to be paying these monthly fucking costs. You're going to be spending way more on these fucking subscriptions to see all these different movies that you could have spent, $6 a week versus I don't know, if you had all of these platforms, you're going to be spending like $70 a fucking month on these things.
Be realistic, Jake. When you go to a movie on a Tuesday and it's a $6 movie, you're getting in and out of that building with just $6 out of your pocket. Hell no. You're dropping $10 on popcorn, $10 on a soda, $15 on a hot dog, and $25 on a toilet ticket.
I don't do that.
You go in with the $6 and you're out. You can see a movie for $6 flat.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just put a fucking drink in my pocket or something. Come on, dude.
Oh my God.
Sometimes
and that's the theater experience
occasions.
You're fighting for? A Twix in your pocket and $6 in your hand? That's the theater experience you're fighting for?
I do think it would be cool if theaters, like how theaters, they have the big open area, right, where the concessions are, and now they've got bars in there and shit.
Yeah, McGruffins.
But you have to show your ticket to get into that section. Yeah. Maybe they should just leave that section open. You could go drink at that bar and they have normal price drinks. You could get concessions there, normal price concessions. Anyone can walk in there. And then the ticket cutters are on the side where the theaters are. I think that would make a lot more sense. They don't even have ticket cutters anymore. They do. When I go to the theater, it's in my phone. My ticket's in my phone.
But
there's no dude. There's still a dude that
scans it. And then I go in.
How is that different than fucking cutting a ticket, Cory? What the fuck are you talking about?
No, you cutting a ticket is somebody actually. Now, I will say the AMC theater over on Bell Road and the 51 still has manual tickets where the little 17-year-old rips it in half, gives you one piece, and then puts the other piece in the box.
How you buy it depends on how you buy your ticket. If you buy it at the stand, or I buy online and I still pick up the ticket at the counter.
Oh, Grandpa.
Well, mainly because I don't like looking through my email.
Oh, Grandpa. You don't want to put your glasses on and scroll through your... You have a very good argument, Jake. You have a very good argument. But unfortunately, you're arguing the culture change and a culture shift in movie releases. and the pandemic has just brought it closer to the forefront. I think honestly this was going to happen whether the pandemic hit or not because of the influx of everybody creating these streaming platforms. I think this was going to be inevitable.
I think everyone's going to hate it in a few years. I'm telling you, dude.
Well, it's yet to see. It's actually yet to see. People thought that they were going to hate having to carry around a large 6-inch disc instead of a little 4-inch piece of plastic tape. And the Walkman came out with CD Walkman.
And people did hate it. And now
people did hate it, but they made their money. And now everybody is carrying around 3-inch disc in their phones.
But you know what? You know what sells more than CDs now? Vinyl records. I'm just saying, man.
Hey, but you know what, Jake? You can hold hope in the fact that these culture shifts, they do come in cycles. Like bell bottoms came back for a while, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so they do come in shifts. I do
think like theaters will always exist.
I think they will too, in a different atmosphere though.
They're gonna go the way of like Great Skate, you know, like a roller skate.
There's still a couple of Roleros open. A few.
Yeah, but they're not exactly places you want to go.
So you're going to have to take a bullet to the skull for you to go to a theater. At least you'll still have your $6 Twix pocket theater experience, Jake.
Where you're literally like skating on the skating rink and you like run over gum. Like, oh.
And don't try to sue because they don't have no insurance. It's the culture shake, man. Grandpa, come on, Grandpa. Come on, Grandpa. Granddad. We'll sit you outside and let you have some sun and a bite of cake.
All right, let's get to what this show is all about. Let's talk about the movies I watched. Were there any movies that you watched that you'd like to mention?
I haven't watched any recent movies that I want to see. I mentioned to you a Suicide Squad. I want to see that come out. I was going to try to see if I could
excited for that one.
Maybe do some sexual favors for someone to get their Habo access. Because I'm not subscribing for something else. I mean, Jesus.
Dude, everyone in my family uses mine, so you might as well hop on there.
I might as well go ahead and hop on there. But that's the one movie that I'm excited to see. There was one more that I saw a preview for that looked pretty damn interesting, and I can't remember what it was. But there's a couple of new movies that are coming out, and it was the other one was only in theaters. And I thought that I wanted to see it. But as far as like what I've been watching, is I go back to the old school stuff, man. I will put on Little Shop of Horrors. I bought it on Amazon. And I will sit there and I will bump that through my Vizio sound system and subwoofer and sound bar and sing along at the top of my lungs. So when I do watch a movie, man, it's always throwback old school movies. And then every once in a while, I'll just do Kamikaze Movie and just open up the Hulu or the Netflix and just scroll through something. And normally I make my decision off of what I'm going to watch based off the cover art. The cover art has any type of skin showing, any level of skin, bikinis, shirtless, whatever, play. I'm watching, hoping that I trip over one of those movies that has full frontal nudity.
There's porn for that.
I know, but I like to see it in the movies. I like to see the nudity where it's not all about sex. It's just about the human body, Jake.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And the only reason why I'm infatuated by the human body is because mine is so disgusting.
That's true. It is.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. I didn't need that self-confidence I came to work with. Pretty teeth motherfucker. All right, what movies have you seen?
Well, we did one of these last time. We did one of these. You weren't here for it, actually. I did it with Austin. He
that
filled in
hurts
on the last rapid fire.
That's hurtful.
So, do you want me to go through a quick recap of everything we talked about previously, or should I just dive into everything I've seen since then?
You do what makes you happy, Jake. I'm here for your happiness.
If you guys want to hear what I talked about on the last video, just go watch the last video. Talked about a bunch of cool stuff over there. I'll leave a link in the description for it. The thing about this list is it's not all new movies. These are just movies that I have watched.
I like that. That's what I like about your list, is that it's not all new shit.
Yeah. And like I was saying earlier, my list is shorter But I'm guessing the next time we do one of these, my list will be a lot longer now that I'm going back to the theaters. So let's just start it out. First thing I watched since the last video was the Mortal Kombat movie, which came out on HBO Max. It was okay. It was fun. There was some like action. It looked kind of dumb. The movie was kind of dumb. It's based off of a video game, so we all kind of know how that goes. Video game movies.
Kombat! Awiyuka!
Yeah.
Awiyuka!
Hadouken.
Oh, I thought it was Awiyuka.
Yeah, whatever. Close enough.
Close enough. Finish him.
Finish him. Yeah, it was fun. It's a good time. If you want something stupid to watch, there you go.
If I had Habo, I would watch that. I think I saw the preview for that. So when I do the sexual favors for your Habo access, that's one that I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's fun. It's kind of bad, but it's fun. As far as video game movies go, I liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
The movie I watched after that was Twilight. Decided to watch Twilight and
with the gay vampires.
Yeah, with the sparkly boys.
Dreamy motherfuckers, weren't they?
I may or may not be working on like a series of videos that have to do with Twilight, so maybe keep an eye out for that. But
oh boy, we're marketing into the 14-year-old teeny boppers.
They're not 14 anymore, Cory. They're all grown adults now.
Oh shit!
You know, think about it. That movie came out like 10 years ago.
That's true.
Yeah, that movie does have like a certain level of charm that is like you kind of forget it's there. It's kind of just like it's got this like gray filter on it. Everyone's like they're like heavy breathing and they're like, "Oh God, he looked at me," and they're like so like abusive towards each other. It's great. It's good stuff. I really loved it.
Did it move a little bit when you were watching it? Was there a little movement?
Yeah. It did move.
I understand.
Yeah, lots of movement going on.
Oh, okay. You don't have to quantify it, but thank you. We got it.
Robert Pattinson, man, he's gonna, that dude he's gonna play Batman.
He does it for you, huh? Yeah, he does it for you, huh? Yeah, that's
wild.
Yeah.
After that, I watched the original Iron Man. Me and Nick are making our way through all of the MCU movies, and man, that movie holds up really well. I don't know.
You and who?
Me and Nick.
I don't know what that is.
Watch our other content. It's a fantastic movie. It holds up really well considering it came out, 13 years ago or something. Yeah, it's just like a classic film, dude. Like seeing him build the suit and like, I don't know, man. It holds up really well, and it's got Jeff Bridges in it, and he goes, "Tony," and that's great.
I remember the Iron Man when it came out because my kid was really into Iron Man, and it's an iconic movie when there are McDonald's toys.
Oh yeah,
he had Iron Man McDonald's toys, and I believe I have a video of him remaking the Iron Man movie with his McDonald's toys, and I believe somewhere in his room he still has that Iron Man McDonald's toy. He wouldn't go anywhere without that thing.
And I will say, it's still one of the most hype moments in all of cinema. At the end of the movie, he's doing the press conference, and they're like, "So is Iron Man like? Is he like your personal bodyguard?" And like all the people before he goes out and does the press conference are like, "Don't do it. Don't like stay quiet, hush hush about it." And he just goes, "I am Iron Man." And then it rolls credits. That is still one of the most hype moments in all of cinema. I love that moment so much.
Did it move a little bit when he said, "I am Iron Man"? Did it move a little bit?
Oh, so much movement, dude.
Oh,
it got a little wet down there.
You had to shift in your seat.
Yeah, dude. Fantastic movie. Okay, this next section, all right? This next section, we're going to spend
section.
This is a section. We're going to spend a little bit of time here.
Oh, shit. We don't have a little bit of time.
We got some time. We're going to make some time for this.
This is not going to be a 2-hour show, motherfucker.
It might be.
No, it won't. It'll be 2 hours of you.
Okay, so that's fine. You can take off. See you later, Cory.
I'm not
Jake
gonna
and Jake
leave
show.
you. The Jake. Hey, is the company not Loner Cast?
Yeah.
Do this shit by yourself. You talking 2 hours, motherfucker.
I always thought I was. I thought you were a voice in my head all this time.
I'm a hallucination. That's one fucked up, fat, black ass hallucination you got, Jake.
So, Cory,
Yes,
have you
Jake.
ever seen a Fast and Furious movie?
I think I may have seen the first one. And the cars were fast. The cars were furious. They spun.
They sure are.
It was loud. Vin Diesel had his shirt off. And then
He
I was
sure
over
does.
it.
So, me and my friends thought it would be a fun idea to get together one weekend for 2 days
It's
and watch.
It's COVID sucking over there.
This was like right when everyone had gotten their vaccines and shit. We're like, let's get together. Let's fucking do this, you know?
Yeah.
And we're like, let's watch every Fast and Furious movie. Okay.
Oh my God.
And I had seen a couple, but like I didn't remember anything about these movies. And let me tell you, Cory, watching all these movies changed my fucking life, dude. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a little far-fetched, don't you think?
They
It changed your fucking life. What are you going out to find you going out to buy a Subaru now?
I always thought these movies were like stupid. But I've come to find out they're fucking genius, and I love them to death, okay? So let's just go down the list, all right? It starts with The Fast and the Furious, okay?
The Fast, the Furious.
The Fast and the Furious. It's just a little, like, small budget movie starring Vin Diesel, Paul Walker. Paul Walker's a cop. He's looking into street racing. He finds out he kind of, like, starts to join this group, and it turns out, you know, they're all family in the end, you know? They all love each other like family in the end, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's just sort of a smaller movie. Second movie, it's called Too Fast, Too Furious, okay?
Oh, shit.
Now we introduce, Vin Diesel, not in this movie, but we got Paul Walker back, and we've got this dude, I think his name's like Romeo in the movie. He's played by Tyrese Gibson. And Ludacris is there, okay? And
Luda!
Yeah, and he had that song that was like Too Fast, Too Furious. If you remember that.
I love your Luda. That's a great Luda.
So this movie starts to escalate things a little bit, okay?
A little
now
white Luda, but it's there.
It's no longer like we're just racing. Now it's like we're pressing NOS all the time.
Oh, NOS.
At the end, one of the dudes says, ejecto-cedo, cuz, and he presses an eject button, and a dude ejects from the car into an ocean, and then they jump a car onto a boat, and it's just sort of, it's a fun little movie. Kind of shit, though. It's a kind of shit movie. Then there was the third one, but this movie takes place, it's in chronological order, it's the sixth movie, but like in release order, it's the third movie, and it's called Tokyo Drift. It doesn't have Vin Diesel in it. It doesn't have Paul Walker in it. It's about this kid who moves to Tokyo, and he learns how to drift. And it introduces this character named Han. He's fucking legendary, dude. He's always like eating things, and he's just like really cool. He's like, I've earned millions of dollars. I'm a millionaire somehow. And then at the end of the movie, he dies. Okay. It's a great movie. It's probably the best Fast and Furious movie, actually, because it actually feels like an actual movie. It's actually pretty good. Then we get to the fourth one, okay? This is where things start to pick up, Cory.
Okay.
I know you're not. I know you're listening, okay?
I'm listening.
The fourth one is a soft reboot of sorts, okay? Paul Walker's character, whose name is Brian, he's now a cop again, okay? Vin Diesel's back. He's now running the his crew again. They're all racing. And then they find out they're family again. This one kind of sucks.
What, they forgot they were family? What the fuck happened here?
That's what I'm saying. This movie's sort of a reboot. It's called Fast and Furious. That's
not they took out fast. They took out the word the.
They took out the. It's just called Fast and Furious. It's like a soft reboot. Fucking
creativity there, bruh.
Okay,
Shit.
it's a soft reboot. Okay, now five 5 is when shit gets really fucking good, Corey. Okay? 5 introduces The Rock. He plays a character named Hobbs, okay? Hobbs is this big cop man, you know, he's played by The Rock, and he's just like fucking epic, okay? The movie's a heist movie. They're like, we got to get this money for some reason, okay? And they attach tethers to these giant fucking bank vaults, and they pull these fucking they pull these bank vaults through the city, and then they do a switcheroo with the bank vaults.
Oh my God, you're going to pass out. You're going to pass out. You're so excited right now.
They do a switcheroo with the bank vaults, and they switch out the bank vaults and kill thousands of cops with an empty bank vault. And they're like, there it is, it's for you. And then Hobbs is the cop trying to catch up, and he's like, good for them.
Jake, I saw that exact same theme in GTA 5 last week.
Then the sixth one.
Oh my God, there's 6. Okay.
We're still going. We're still going. The sixth one, at the end of the movie, okay, they're doing it. They're chasing down this plane. Someone did the math for how long this chase scene was. This chase scene, the runway of the airport would have had to been 28 miles. Someone did the math online. So they're just doing this chase scene on a 28-mile ramp.
Jesus Lord
now
have mercy.
And there's a scene where Vin Diesel is on top of a parking garage. I think this is the sixth one. Vin Diesel is on top of a parking garage, and he says, get back, and he stomps his foot, and the entire parking garage collapses for some reason. And it's just like, okay, these movies have just got off the deep end. They don't even care anymore. Then the seventh one happens.
Shit.
The seventh one happens. They're parachuting cars out of fucking planes now, okay? They're parachuting out. Han's dead now, okay?
The Rock is dead?
So now Han is dead, not The Rock. The Rock is like part of the crew now.
Okay. He's turned his back on the badge.
Yeah, but like The Rock doesn't show up. He gets injured at the beginning of this movie. He gets blown up by this character named Hobbs, by Shaw, who's played by Jason Statham. And Hobbs is injured throughout this entire movie. And the payoff is so good, okay? He's injured. He's in the hospital. He's got casts on, you know? And the end of the movie, he sees an explosion outside of the hospital window. And he looks at his daughter, and she's like, where are you going, Daddy? And he says, Daddy's got to go to work. And then he breaks the cast. He goes and breaks the cast off, and then and goes and helps them. And he rips a machine gun off of a tank and starts shooting.
You are so fucking in your element right now. It's ridiculous.
He starts shooting with a fucking machine gun that he ripped off the tank. So during the shooting of this movie, okay, Paul Walker, who plays Brian, he's kind of been like the main protagonist alongside Vin Diesel in these movies, who plays Dom Toretto. The actor Paul Walker passed away in real life.
Yeah.
And the end of the movie ends with them sort of just like at a crossroads, like, hey, I'll see you around. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go retire and take care of my kids now. And they're like, yeah, we'll see you around. And there's like a sort of like tribute to him at the end of the movie, and everyone cries. So then the eighth movie.
You didn't cry. Oh, the eighth movie?
Yeah, the eighth movie.
I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. Jesus, the eighth movie.
God bless them. They called this movie Fate of the Furious. God bless them. Great name of the movie. Fate of the Furious. Paul Walker isn't in this movie, obviously, but he is still like in this movie. He's like taking care of his kids, right? And this movie is even more ridiculous. There's a scene that they introduce this character called Mr. Nobody, who's played by Kurt Russell, and he's like this old like secret agent man. And
agent man.
There's one scene they might have introduced him in 7. I can't remember. They all kind of blend together.
You think?
There's one scene where Mr. Nobody walks into a room where everyone's shooting at him, and he turns on, like, he presses a button on his glasses and it turns to night vision. He shoots like 20 of them. Then he looks over at Vin Diesel. He winks at him. He gets shot in the stomach, right? And he falls to the ground, and you're like, he's dead. But that was epic because he like winked at him. And then they go over to him. He's fine. He's not even injured.
Oh my God. I wish people could see the joy on your face right now.
And then they introduced this thing called zombie cars, where all these cars are being controlled by Charlize Theron, and like all these cars are just like coming out of parking garages and like falling. It's so great, dude. These movies are great. And then there's a spin-off movie called Hobbs and Shaw, which is about The Rock. Okay, it's about
For those
The Rock.
that are tracking at home, movie number 9.
Yeah, this would be movie number 9, and this movie sucked. This was the worst one. I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, that's my experience for Fast and the Furious for now. For now on the list.
Yeah, hit the subscribe button for part 2.
Oh no, there might be more on this list. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Fast and Furious section of this list. Are you interested in seeing them now?
No. For those of you that have slipped into a Fast and Furious coma, let me welcome you back to reality with this little song ditty. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, bing, bang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, bing, bing, walla, walla, bing, bang.
Okay, let's move on down the list, okay?
I really wish people could have seen your fucking face during that whole thing. I mean, you were like a kid on Christmas morning talking about these 15-year-old movies.
Oh, dude, they're great. They're great.
But everything you explained in Fast and Furious, I don't have to see any of those movies because I see it in GTA 5.
Yeah, those movies are so ridiculous, dude. And you got to see him for Vin Diesel, dude. His performance is so whack, and I love it. I love it so much.
Wow.
The next movie I watched after watching every Fast and Furious movie was Army of the Dead, which is on Netflix. It's a Netflix exclusive. It's directed by Zack Snyder, who famously directed Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel. He directed 300. Pretty famous director.
This is Sparta!
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of his films. I think most of his films are garbage. And
how was Army of the Dead?
This movie is no exception. I think this movie is kind of bad. It has some moments. It's got Dave Bautista in it, and that dude just exudes charisma. I think he's pretty good in the movie. Literally, there's a fucking dead pixel from the camera he used in the movie, and I'm not the only one who fucking noticed this shit. It's all over the internet. There's a dead pixel. I had gotten a new TV at the time, and I thought it was a dead pixel on my screen. No, there was just a dead pixel from the This was the first movie Zack Snyder had ever done director of photography for. He's always been a director like of the movie, but in this movie he was actually the director of photography as well, and it shows. It's a movie. It's a heist movie where they have to steal stuff from Vegas, but there's a zombie outbreak, which is an interesting concept. But then ultimately it ends up just feeling like every other zombie movie. And yeah, I don't know. It could have been really cool. It wasn't that great.
I might give it a go. Look.
Yeah, it's really long too. It's like 2
I'm
hours
out.
and 40 minutes. Yeah,
I'm out. Scratch
way
it off the
longer
list.
than it. Zack Snyder is just like one of those guys that's like, I need every movie to be 3 hours long.
Fuck that.
We talked about it on the last time, but I watched the Snyder Cut earlier in the year, and which is his version of Justice League, and it's 4 hours long, and it's not even that good. Yeah. Anyway, next movie I watched after that was In the Heights, which was on HBO.
I want to see that. It's got that little dreamy Hispanic Latino or whatever the hell Puerto Rico guy in it.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
He famously did Hamilton, right?
Yes.
And this was his Broadway musical before Hamilton, and they brought it to the screen. I thought it was okay. I'm a big fan of musicals.
Was it like Hamilton where everything in Hamilton was sung, or was there some dialogue like Little Shop of Horrors?
There's dialogue. There's also dialogue in Hamilton. Have you watched Hamilton?
I have watched Hamilton
on Disney Plus. God damn, it's fucking incredible, right?
It is incredible. I watched Hamilton the stage play on Disney Plus.
Right. There is no movie for it. That's all there is. And after watching In the Heights, I kind of wish they just did that. Within the Heights,
I love a stage play, man.
I wish they would.
Love
I wish
a
they would
stage
do.
Play.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I just said I wish I love a stage play.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I love a stage play as well. And I thought what they did with Hamilton was so great, where they took multiple performances, a couple in front of a crowd. They did some without a crowd so they could do close-up shots. And like then they blended it all together into this like great stage play that they have on Disney Plus. I thought that was so great, and what they should do with more plays. I think they should do that with like every fucking play.
I agree, so and that the fucking continuity in them having that on different days, different angles was fucking crazy. I couldn't catch one because I knew going into the movie that they had shot it in that way. Wide with audience, mid without audience, close up without audience. I knew that it was shot that way. I was like, there's got to be some type of freaking... No, it was so tight. It was so fucking tight. I picked up on no continuity issues.
I often find with a lot of these musical movies that they just don't translate well to film. Like a great example of that is like, Phantom of the Opera. It's kind of a trash movie. Or Mamma Mia, which is kind of a trash movie. I like
Jesus
Sweeney
Christ,
Todd.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
It's not a movie, it's a stage play.
Well, I've seen the stage play, but what I'm saying is like Phantom of the Opera, the movie, is trash, but the stage play is great.
Oh, okay.
Rent, the movie, is trash, but the stage play is great. Sweeney Todd is different, but I prefer the stage play. I wish they would just do that. And In the Heights, I haven't seen the stage play of In the Heights, but the movie has some moments. Like there's this great like musical like dance scene where they're all in a pool, and there's like some great choreography where they're all like dancing in the pool, and there's like a bunch of people. It's really great, but I feel like it's another casualty of like this would have been better if it was just a stage play, and they would have just done what they did with Hamilton.
I'm looking for a movie that I hope is on your list. So go ahead, continue.
The next thing on my list, and you'll be able to talk about this one, because we watched it together recently, was Inside by Bo Burnham.
That's what was on my list, was Inside.
Yeah. Phenomenal, dude. It's really
breathtaking.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Bo Burnham is a comedian. He does like musical comedy, and he made a special, I guess, inside of his bedroom over the past year in quarantine. And it's hilarious. It's depressing. It's relatable and beautifully edited, well lit. The lighting is incredible. The songs are catchy as fuck. It's really just great. It just it hits everything on the head, From a production standpoint to an artistic standpoint, it hits on all cylinders. Only one let down. No full frontal nudity. There is some nudity though.
Yeah, but not full frontal.
Yeah.
That other stuff is. There's some full frontal on Netflix. But nevertheless, Inside was phenomenal. I went into it completely unaware. I heard buzz about it. We streamed it together, and I'll tell you one thing. I never took a potty break. I never pulled away from it. It kept me engaged the whole entire time, because you used the word relatable. I like to use the word real. It was real and raw in some points. And if he did that purposely, or if he really allowed it to be in that raw moment in space and he just left that in there, even more points to him. But even if it was...
I think either way, it's incredible.
Either way, it just absolutely worked. Inside on Netflix.
So actually last night, I went and saw Inside in theaters. He did a one-night special where he was showing it in a bunch of theaters. So I went to the theater and saw it with a bunch of people, and it was kind of a surreal experience, because the whole thing is about being inside, and then like seeing it with this group of people is just sort of this surreal experience. Everyone's kind of singing along, but everyone's also kind of sad, and everyone's kind of damaged. Everyone in that theater is wearing a mask because that's the kind of people that like this movie or special. yeah, it was really a surreal experience, and it honestly made me. The more I like kind of start to go out a little bit more, yeah, I'm like realizing more and more that like that lockdown kind of fucked me up. But anyway, next thing was Fast 9, which is the 9th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise, which came out this year. It was the first movie I saw in theaters, and it was like the first big movie to be released since quarantine hit. I think it's the worst of the Fast and Furious movies. I think it's trash. Yeah, there is one scene where Vin Diesel is in this sewer and he grabs like a chain link, like what is it, like a rope or whatever, and
a chain
link chain, yes, and
wow.
Okay. My brain is in a lot of places right now, Corey.
Yeah, it is.
He grabs a chain and he just pulls on it and the whole fucking sewer collapses. That was pretty fucking hilarious. I did forget to mention in the 4th movie of Fast and Furious, an engine block falls and he catches it with his bare hand. Also in the 7th movie, they're like, hey, we need to get under the engine real quick to do something. And he literally just picks up the car. These movies are ridiculous. Anyway, next movie I watched after that was Black Widow, which I would say is like the first big, real, good movie I've seen since the pandemic. Fast and Furious didn't count. Black Widow, I wish, was my first movie back in theaters because I thought it was incredible. Scarlett Johansson is wonderful in most things. And Florence Pugh, who plays her sister.
Pugh?
Yeah, Pugh.
Pugh!
She's great. She steals the whole show. Yeah, it's really, really great. If you're into Marvel, definitely good movie. Even if you're not into Marvel, you might like the movie. It's pretty solid. I'm almost done, I swear to God.
I hope so.
Next movie I watched after that, I watched on Hulu. It's a movie called Black Klansman. It was directed by Spike Lee. It's a Spike Lee joint, as he calls them.
It's a Spike Lee joint.
It's got Denzel Washington's son, whose name is escaping me right now, who I think is fucking phenomenal. And he's phenomenal in this movie. A great actor. He's also in Tenet. He's really fucking good. And this movie is about a black guy who in like the 70s, and it's based on a true story. He calls up the Klan and he like joins the Klan, but he's black, and then he has a white police officer go in his stead to like investigate the Klan. And Spike Lee like puts this like comedic edge on it that I think is really good. Like he just makes the Klan members look so stupid, which I absolutely loved. But he puts a level of tension in there that leaves you on the edge of your seat. And Adam Driver is who plays like the white police officer who goes into the Klan. And Adam Driver is my favorite working actor in Hollywood right now. I think he's fucking phenomenal in everything he's in. He played Kylo Ren, but he's been in other things. He's great. Yeah, I thought it was a great movie.
That story was also a skit on the Dave Chappelle show.
Well,
Dave did an annotation of it.
That was a little different. That's where he's like a blind guy.
Yeah, but it was taken from the basis of that true story, and that was the Dave Chappelle bit. Yeah,
it's a really great movie. I would definitely recommend it.
I won't watch it. I don't like to watch things like that. But you're saying that it had a little bit of comedic spin on it. I may give it a go because I've seen it in the playlist, but I don't like watching stuff.
I really liked it. I had put it on for a long time, mainly for the same reason, because I'm like, man, I just don't know if I can handle that. And the ending is kind of like, it's hard to watch because he ends up like splicing in like just moments of Donald Trump saying really racist shit, and then like that thing where the guy drove the car through the crowd or whatever. And like, yeah. So yeah, it has that, because that is what it's about. It's about racism. And
but the same reason why I won't watch Oprah Selma, and I can't. I don't want to watch that stuff.
Yeah, but I thought it was great. But it is a bit more funny, because ultimately, like, the situation is kind of hilarious, like, when you think about it, and like it. Yeah. Anyway, it's worth watching. The movie I watched after that, I have 2 more movies, almost done. Was Space Jam: A New Legacy. I watched Space Jam, the new one with LeBron James. It's okay. It's fine. It's a little like it feels like a Warner Brothers like commercial almost, where they're like, "Hey, check out all our Warner Brothers properties. There's King Kong, there's Superman, there's Batman," which is like neat for a minute. It gets kind of old by the end of the movie, but ultimately, my review that I posted online on my social media page was Space Jam: A New Legacy is probably some kid's favorite movie. It probably is. I think kids are going to fucking eat this movie up, and that's cool, and I think that's what it was made for. So
the new generation will. The old generation is still holding on to the Michael Jordan Space Jam, and
that's fine. That movie still exists. It's still bad, as it always was. But this movie it's like for young kids. LeBron is like the biggest dude, and like it's gonna get some kids into basketball. It's gonna get kids into animation. I think ultimately it's fine. Yeah. And then the last movie I just watched this week in theaters, was A Quiet Place Part 2, which the first Quiet Place movie I wasn't like a huge fan of, but it was fine. Have you heard of A Quiet Place, Cory?
I think I've seen a preview of it, but it doesn't stick out in my craw.
So A Quiet Place is sort of like a post-apocalyptic movie where everyone has to stay extremely quiet, otherwise these monsters like come and eat you or whatever. So if you talk...
wasn't there already a movie like that?
Yeah, it's called A Quiet Place. This was A Quiet Place Part 2.
Oh, okay.
So A Quiet Place Part 1 is about like this family, and like the daughter's deaf, and they're like learning how to deal with her being deaf, but also having to be completely quiet. She doesn't know that she's making sound or whatever. So they like create an ear thing, and then at the end of the movie, they find out that they use the ear thing to fight off the monsters, and that's how they kill them or whatever. This next movie is like, the dad died at the end of the first one, so now they're like trying to survive without the dad. And I don't know. I thought it was kind of boring. Wasn't as good as the first one, and I didn't really like the first one that much. It was okay. It's fine. I hate to end it on a whimper like that, but like it was fine. It was not that great. I was not that impressed. But
and I know a lot was that in theaters?
I saw it in theaters, yeah.
Okay. Is it on streaming too?
I think it just came to Paramount Plus. Yeah.
I'm not getting Paramount Plus. Fuck that.
Yeah. I know. I
wanted to watch the NBA USA team, but yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people were like really into A Quiet Place Part 2, but I was not a huge fan.
It's a wimpy hair rating for A Quiet Place.
Yes. I give that movie a quiet review.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, so that's my movie list.
Good job, except for that Fast and Furious segment.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I'm kidding. I kidding, Jess. I mean, yes, that Fast and Furious sucked out all my energy, but I'm back, baby. Let me tell you about GTA 5 and no, I'm kidding. No, I actually
movies stand out to you? Any movies that you might end up going and watching? Or
I wrote down Army of the Dead, and I may give a looky-loo into that Spike Lee joint because you said it has a comedic factor, but you pushed me back away from it when you said he splices in some real shit from the rump and
it's
stuff
like an end
that.
credits thing,
Yeah, and I can't handle that right now, man. That's the last thing that I need is to watch something like that. I don't like period pieces like that to begin with, not because I'm ignoring the history. It's just that, sometimes, dude, after this whole last 18 months, man, shit, my psyche can't really deal with nothing else right now. You know what I'm saying? So I need to watch shit that's. I mean, I would. Here's my take. I would watch one of those fucking Fast and Furious movies before I watched, something that's, race dealing type situation. I'm just,
if you're gonna watch Fast and Furious, watch Fast 5 or watch Fast 7. Those are the ones.
I'll go resubscribe. I'll go resubscribe to Benny Streams on Twitch before I watch a Fast and Furious movie. I'm out. I mean, find me something that's like, I want to, one of the movies that aren't a big blockbuster or something like that. Now, you did the Fast and Furious thing. So what I think you should do is a Police Academy watch party.
God.
That's what you should do. See how you feel about the Police Academy is the same way I feel about the Fast and Furious shit. The Police Academy, that shit's funny. Even though it's kind of sad on a different note that the guy that played Jonesy's that made all the sounds with his mouth.
Yeah.
You remember that character?
Yeah.
He auditioned on freaking America's Got Talent a week ago.
For real? That guy was very famous for a long time.
That guy was hugely famous, but he's a
stand-up comedian, yeah.
His wife passed away, and he left the industry.
I forget his name.
I guess
what's his name?
I forget it off the top of my tongue, but he left the industry, and his way back in is through America's Got Talent. This dude's not going to win America's Got Talent, but it was kind of a smart move because it put him in the eyes of millions of people once again. I think I want to say his name is like Michael something. But yeah, he was Jonesy. Michael Winslow. And he was on freaking America's Got Talent doing his voices again. He looks exactly the same, but it was just kind of sad. I'm like, the fuck? Is this who I think? And sure as shit, as soon as he walked out, all the judges knew. And of course, he got 4 stars. If he would have got the golden ticket, I would have been a little bitter.
Was that X Factor?
America's Got Talent. And don't Google it because I got an America's Got Talent episode.
Yeah.
That I got an episode sitting in the old Hulu watch list right now. I'm gonna watch after the show.
That is very strange.
It's so weird, man. So weird. I mean, it wasn't a fall from grace. He walked away to raise his kids after his wife died.
Man, how strange.
I now his kids are grown, and he wants to get back into the entertainment industry.
I remember watching his stand up when I was a kid because I thought it was so funny. Like he would I was like a little kid and he's like blah, 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 and I'm like he made noises.
Little Jakey Poo just sitting there. He made noises.
He sounded like a fire truck.
He sounded like a barking dog. Give me a guitar.
Oh man. But okay, real quickly. Here's the naming convention of Fast and Furious. Okay, we kind of mentioned it, but here's every movie. Okay, we got The Fast and The Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. We've got Fast and Furious. We've got Fast 5. Okay, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7, Fate of the Furious, and then Fast 9. What? I hope the next one is called Fast 10 Your Seatbelts.
You know what the next one is going to be called? Fast the End of This Show.
Fast 10 Your Seatbelts. Come on, that's good stuff, man. Come on, that's good stuff. Make sure you check out every other podcast show.
Thank you.
We've got the.
I'm so glad you're cute because I would stab you right now. This is longer than any other. This is longer than any other episode I've ever done in any other show 20. That I'm a part of.
Our normal shows are like an hour 20. Our last one was an hour 20.
Our normal shows are not an hour 20. Our normal shows are 60 minutes.
Oh my God. Yes, and Cory. Yes, and.
Yes, and Jake. Yes, and.
Check out our other shows. We've got the Loner Gamecast, which comes out. We do it live on twitch.tv/lonercast.
We'll do it live.
Every Monday at 3:30. This show goes live every Monday, early in the morning, usually like 2 a.m. Yeah.
First come, first serve, folks. First come, first serve. Don't miss it.
We've got a lot of other stuff.
You better be listening.
A lot of other stuff is coming to the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers. It's the spoiler cast, which is on maybe a hiatus just because Loki ended. So we're kind of trying to figure out what we're doing next. So, yeah. Bye-bye.
5, 6, 7, 8.